Good evening. Welcome to the third January 1942 in the Wirraway versus Heclapar play-by-mail game. This turn, after the excitement of the last two, should be a bit quieter, I hope. It's like his coastal guns are still making a mess of some of my smaller transports. A14. Took one direct hit. That's good. You'll need a bit of yard time, I suspect. O23 is still stocking the mostly empty transports at Semarang. S39 takes a couple hits. You'll need some yard time. Nico Maru's done for. She's a small little transport. Reinforcements arriving at Macassar. This is armor. Opted to go ahead with these small fast transport landings off Papua New Guinea. I was considering not doing so. Sea Raven fires a dud. For escorts. Hit Sea Raven. Looks like she'll probably need some yard time too. So my thinking on those fast transports off Papua New Guinea, drawing his attention back to that theater from where I wanted. He knows my carriers are there. I don't think those actions will appear anything other than dock-based cleanup. And then when the activity does occur in SendPack, I don't think it will diminish this likelihood that he fights one way or another. Would be wrong. Suppressing fort building at Singapore. Hands hitting Pegu. Looks like a base force. That's all that's there. Sweeps over. Balabang don't find anything. Man's trying to restrict his moves. That's not really a particularly valuable attack. I need to turn those hands off. Doesn't do any good. Lily's suppressing fort building over Palabang. So far, they've been adequate to that task. Comes in again for attacks on those mostly empty transports. Has some trouble with targeting, which I expected might occur. And after yesterday's attacks, didn't really expect him to try again. Well, making a pretty serious attempt of it. Again, they're really no good at this. Typical problem for him in that the raids tend to go off in all sorts of different directions with multiple targets in range. So my modest cap is able to generally deal with his raids. That little AKL sinks. Glenn spotted. Looks like he may be making a move either reinforced midway or heading towards the Aleutians that Glenn is patrolling north of Oahu. Glenn armed submarine, Glenn equipped submarine, to be precise. Government surrenders. These troops are still a few days from being ready to attack again. Koepang should fall. Yep. Oh, there are two Catalinas left there. That's good. Obviously damaged and unable to fly out. Typical bombardments. We'll take Macassar tomorrow. Typical Allied bombardments in northern China. Second Parachute Regiment, in this case, technically the 3rd Special Naval Landing Force, drops on Osthaven. Split this up. Okay, let's take a look. This task force will split and send half a unit to Hetka, half to Amchetka. Let's take a look. French frigate shoals. So that Glenn sub sighted the enemy there, but didn't keep it in sight. We're searching both day and night, but they obviously moved out of our range. Mixed Brigade will move out of this hex next turn while they attack again. They'll retreat into this vacated hex. We're going to vacate this hex and eventually drive these remnants through that gap. We'll be ready to attack these wrecked units here on the Ankang Road next turn. That will go poorly for the Chinese. First, we'll assault across into Pegu. He's not even sure why he's holding that at this point, because those units will just get destroyed. Not strong enough to do anything. I wonder what he has in mind there. We can refuel our carrier task forces. Destroyers coming along to deal with the PT boats. down here off Banjawenge. Reinforcements headed towards Cocos Island. And we'll continue to move up and clear this supply path. Don't, as you may know, and I think I talked about last video, you don't actually have to control the road and rail for the fly to run from Osthaven. Just makes it easier, I should say, makes it occur more often. But we're still a couple days from being able to get supplies, probably 3 days from being able to get supplies to Osthaven. And then it will take a couple days for them to get up to our base next to Palembang. So we're supplying this by air at the moment. He's got a unit that's moved into the open. We'll hit that. Let's turn. Armor and artillery. Bridge. Our divisions are still pretty disrupted, and they need to recover some squads. Second echelon arrives. It will be a few more days before we can attack against Singapore. Not really a concern. AB is docked and rearming, refueling at truck. Our amphibious task forces here in the Gilberts are ready to begin their operations. Our deception task force, let's see, still a couple days from likely being sighted from Johnson. Usually sighting occurs around 12, sometimes 14 hexes, depending on number, certainly, but depending on the number of full aircraft he has. And the air. He lost, let's see, 14 to 5. Dutch B-10s, Catalina's destroyed on the ground. Seagulls destroyed on the ground. Dorners. The ops losses for transporting supplies and troops. You can see lost 2 transports. Lost a Pete to ops. Lost a 0. Uh, apparently 0 lost a dogfight with one of those Dorners. Interesting. Okay. Let's just check. Transport losses have been 5 Topsies. 3 Tinas, not bad. 2 Thalias. That's total for the almost a month of fighting. That's fine. Typically, some players build a lot of transports. I don't. Looking our engine status. See, I'm building 19 is the moment a month. Tinas are quite useful due to their range, those familiar with the aircraft. My HA-35s are growing slowly. Building any thalias at the moment. I still have 4 in the pool. And the blends, I usually just build out the glens to consume the engines and then stop. This is a PDU off game, so I can't change the type of aircraft on those submarines as some do in other games. Top C1s, only building 9. I only have 85 engines left, so I can only build a large handful. I can only build about 40 total. I'm not going to build any more HA5s. And then we'll upgrade to the next Topsy. C2 uses the HA35, not available for 3 more months. 4 more months, really. So I have to be careful about I can only lose about 10 top C1s a month and make it through until the top C2s are available. Okay. We'll get the next turn queued up and look forward to one-sided battle in China. In and out of the Aleutians before his ships arrive. Continuing our operations in SOPAC and SEMPAC, develop and cutting off Java, taking Sorbaja, and driving up the coast somewhat simultaneously to take the coastal bases and just leave his bastion at Bandoing as the final piece on Java. The way this is going to play out, we're likely to have to take Palembang before we can take Bandoing. Singapore Falls, recover those divisions, take Palembang. Probably won't need much from the Singapore force. They can be redeployed. Take Bandoing. Goal by the end of the month to have Java completely secured so we can move on to phase 2 operations elsewhere. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon.